Hello everyone and welcome back to our course. In the previous lecture, we learned how we can calculate support and confidence for all channel pairs. And next up, we're going to learn how we can determine which videos are best to recommend. So which videos have the highest confidence and highest support. Because if we have a lot of data, then we're going to need to learn how we can quickly get the top insights from that data. So let's create a new code cell, and our first step is going to be to sort all of our items by a certain value, such as support. So for that, I'm going to import from pprint. I'm going to import the pprint function just because it will help me print quickly. I'm going to print a list of my support.items. Okay, then if I run this code cell, I am just going to have to make sure I have support declared. Let's see, where do we have this? Support, there it is. Okay, we have our support. Awesome. Let's see, where else did we have it? It also had support as equal to times the rule was valid. Okay, great. So we should have this working. Let's see, from pprint, I'm going to import pprint, and I'm going to pprint a list of support. Oh yes, okay, I just have to make sure I have an extra parentheses there. Okay, yeah, make sure you just close the parentheses. And that will give me a list of all of my items sorted by my support. All right. Next, I have to sort them in some kind of order. All right, so I'm going to add a code cell, and I am going to use the sorted function here. I'm going to take support.items. The key is going to be an item getter at index 1, and the reverse is equal to true, so I can sort in descending order. Item getter, I have to import from operator. I'm going to import that item getter function, and then I'm going to have this result, which will be stored as a variable. I can say support sorted. All right, because before we just had it all printed out, all the items of support, but now we have to actually sort them in descending order. So that's why we have reverse equals true. All right, then I can loop through for every index in a range. We can find the top 3 or the top 5 values. Let's do top 5. Then I'm going to print out my results here. So to print out my results, I'm going to make a helper function that I will call print results. And I'm going to have to pass in my premise, my conclusion, the support, the confidence, and the features. All right, so the premise and conclusion, that's going to be a pair, and it's the result of support sorted at the current index and at the 0th column. Then let's make that helper function. We have to define here print results. So it's just going to be a helper function to print out. And we have to pass in here all of the 5 values. All right. And here we are going to print out the rule first. If a viewer liked the first channel, they will like the second channel. Then I'm going to add here to the string the format function in order to insert variables. The variables is the premise followed by the conclusion. Now the premise is going to be our first channel followed by the second channel. And so these actually are going to come from the premise and conclusion. So the first channel is equal to the premise, or the features rather, at the premise. So we've done this before. We did this in the previous lecture. The second channel is equal to the features at the conclusion, because our features array, it just stores a list of all of the column names. All right, and back to this. So we've printed out the heading. Next up, let's actually print out the confidence. So we can even just copy what we did in the previous lecture. We can just grab that code directly. Here where we have the confidence and the support, we can just copy that, right? And we can just paste that right in there into that print results function. So first we're printing out the confidence, and then we're printing out the support, followed by a line break. Okay, so now we are going to print out our top 5 results sorted by support. So if I run this code cell, let's see, looks like I'm just missing something here. Let's see. Yes, this format function, I have to make sure that I have the parentheses facing the correct way. So let me just see here. Format, make sure you have, there you go. Make sure you have first channel and second channel as the arguments to that format function. Then I can run the code cell and look at this. Now I get my top 5 results sorted by support. So we have the highest support 32 and then the 5th highest support 22. So this quickly allows me to get insight from my data. I am able to quickly find which of the rules had the highest support. And those also tend to have the highest confidence as well, but not necessarily. So we can also sort our rules by confidence and find the highest confidence score as well. So let's do that next. Let's now sort by confidence. So I'm going to make another code cell, and I'm going to make a variable called confidence sorted this time instead of support sorted. I'm going to use the sorted function here. I'm going to take my confidence and get its items, because remember, confidence is a dictionary. It's like a table that contains an entry for every pair, where we have all the channels at the top and all the channels on the side, like a multiplication table, and then each of the entries in the table is just pairing the channels together. So we have to pass in the items we want to sort. We have to pass in the key, which is going to be our item getter at index 1 again. And we have reverse, which is going to set to true, meaning that we will sort in descending order, which means the largest will be at the top. All right. Then I am going to take the same function I had here, so the same loop rather, and I'm just going to paste that loop again because we're doing the same thing. We're just looping through the top 5 results, but this time instead of support sorted, we're passing in confidence sorted, and then we're just printing the results. So now I can run this cell again and we'll get our results, and you can even extract this to its own function if you wanted to. But look at this. Now we have our top 5 results, right? Our top 5 rules, but this time they are sorted based on confidence, so not support. All right. And remember, confidence is the number of times that the rule was found valid divided by the number of total times that a viewer liked the first channel. Whereas support is just the number of times that the viewer liked both channels out of the whole data set. All right, and we can see our results are slightly different because confidence does not always mean that it will correlate with the highest support. Sometimes the confidence can be high, but the support can be low. That just means you had fewer instances of the occurrence, but the overall confidence in terms of ratio of the number of times the occurrence appeared relative to the number of possible times it could have appeared, that was high. And of course, we do have a relatively small data set. We only have 100 rows and 5 channels. In the real world, the data set would be even larger, so you would get more accurate results because you'd have a lot more samples for support. And that is how you can get your top results from both support and confidence. And congratulations, everyone. Just like that, you have learned how you can mine data, how you can create a data set. Then together, we learned how we can calculate support and confidence for not just one pair of channels, but for all pairs of channels. And then we learned how we can quickly mine the top insights from our data. So we were able to determine which videos would be best to recommend. So we would know that these are our top results. If we find that a new viewer likes Buratech, we know we have highest confidence to support that we should send them to Video Game Reviewer. We should recommend them a Video Game Reviewer video. As well, if a viewer comes in and we know that they like Investing 101, then we can know with high confidence that we should recommend them funny cat videos. Remember, this is high confidence relative to our overall data set. Confidence can be a lot higher, like confidence can be 80% as well. That would be even better. But this is the highest relative to what we have. There's a lot more that you could do with this data set. You could get even more insights. You could also work with a different data set and see what kind of insights you can come up with. As well, you can change up the data set we created because remember, we created it from scratch, right? So that means that you can actually change these values and directly see how that changes your results of your insights. I'm excited to see what you create, what projects you come up with. So do share with us, and I hope to see you in another course.